Hello, everybody. Let's chat for a moment. Sharing this out really quick. Sweet sauce. Hey, Amber. I'm doing good. How are you? My hair's a little frizzy today. Hi, Kristen. Nice, Amber. Me and Zach are getting ready and preparing for our crawfishing tomorrow. Hey, Tricky. How are you? I'm going to talk to you in a little bit. Oh, heads up, you guys. Justin's here, just so you know. So, I haven't really made a video to talk about the stuff that's going on here in America. Not only here in America, but here in the, in the whole world. And so I just kind of wanted to address all of that and kind of use my platform to make awareness. So, we're going to chat today. Because I got some opinions. I got some feelings that I need to get out. And who better to talk to about it than you guys? Ouch. So, first of all, how are you all doing? And what are your guys' thoughts and views on what's going on in our world right now? Because there's a lot going on in our world right now. And I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. A lot of different feelings about it. And I just want to take some time out to talk about it. Because it needs to be talked about. Absolutely needs to be talked about. Of course, we need to start this little live out right here. Sorry. I don't think I have anything to drink in here either. Was saying Black Lives Matter 100%, of course. And me and Zach have been talking about the stuff going on in our world lately. And actually talking about it. So a lot of people are protesting right now because they want change. But when you say you want change, it's... Oh, Tricky, you can't send a chat message? That's weird. Try and back out or refresh. Amber, when you say there's too much hate for no reason, what do you mean by that? Because I 100% agree there's too much hate and it's heartbreaking. But what kind of hate do you mean? Sorry, it started raining. Ouch. And I also want to make sure that everybody knows, on my channel, I am very strict on everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. You're not going to be judged by your opinion. Everybody is allowed to disagree. Yay! I'm so glad you're back, Tricky. I'm glad it worked. Kristen, justice to be served for who? That's kind of what me and Zach have been talking about, and kind of my views on it is, oh, yay, Tricky, I'm so glad you like it. I'll have to show you guys the latest shirt I made. It's an alien, and it's super cool. Justice for everyone. Exactly. So my thing is this whole movement, in my opinion, what my opinion is this whole movement started because a black man was murdered in the street. His name is George Floyd, and he started this movement. What happened to him was wrong, and what word am I looking for? It was just wrong. Devastating and wrong. And he started this movement. But I think that it's kind of evolved into something more than just Black Lives Matter. So that's what we're fighting for now, is the racism in our country is alive and well. And we can't deny that. But it's also transformed into police brutality. And the videos I'm seeing online are devastating. They're disgusting. Sorry. Hi, Dawn. I've missed you too. I'm so glad you could make it to our live today. Today we're going to get real emotional because I have been crying nonstop. Exactly, Amber. And that's what I'm saying. And so me and Zach, I agree, Kristen. Me and Zach have been talking about it, and he asked me because I'm just like, things need to change. Things need to change. We need to make a change. And so Zach's question to me was, what needs to change? And I said, black people need to stop being shot down in our streets, and that needs to change. And he's like, okay, but what needs to change in order to make that happen? So we were kind of talking about it, and exactly, Laura. But what me and Zach were talking about is maybe in order to make a change, maybe there needs to be better policies for police. There's a couple of different things. Like, the laws in different states is ridiculous. Like, I can't remember the exact statistics, but I believe it's only in 68 large cities in America. Only 68 cities, cops are required to tell you that they are going to shoot you. So what about the other cities that's not required in? That's terrifying. That a cop does not have to give you a warning before they shoot you. That's scary. And, no, it's not just black people who are being shot and killed, but we also need to remember that most of America is made up of white people. So the fact that the statistics are pretty close, the ones I saw, were pretty close in saying, you know, this many white people were killed by cops in this year, and this many black people were killed in the same year. And the numbers were relatively close to each other. But what we need to remember is there's a lot more white people in America than there are black. So if those numbers are close to each other, that means an astonishing amount of people who are black are being killed more than white people. Exactly, Dawn. This is America. I am so proud to live in America. I am a very, very proud American. But what that means to me is America is about freedom. Regardless of your skin color, your sexual orientation, your religion, all of that. It's about freedom. Exactly, Amber. So I was watching some videos, and I probably need to take a break soon because I'm just bawling my eyes out nonstop. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've been posting a lot, like sharing a lot of videos on my personal Facebook. So if you guys are on my personal Facebook, you've probably seen them. But there's one where there's two videos that stand out to me. And that's Yes, Amber, and I hear you there. And I'll get to that as well here in a second. But I've posted 2 videos on my Facebook that really hit home for me. And that's the 75-year-old man that was shoved to the ground because he was protesting. He was a white 75-year-old man. He was shoved to the ground and his head, I'm sorry, it's going to get graphic in this live. So disclaimer there. He was shoved to the ground, his head was cracked open, and he was bleeding from his ear. That was a 75-year-old man that police brutally shoved to the ground. Yes, Laura. Now that's the point that I want to move on to. Is a lot of people are like, rioting's not okay. They're destroying things that they don't need to and stuff like that. Yes, I agree to a point. What I mean by that, and it's so sad to say that it has to be done that way in order to make change. People should be able to walk in the streets and protest, and that be enough. But it's not. You have to do something so crazy and out of this world in order to catch the attention to make a change. Why does it have to get to that point for people to listen? Because there were riots in the beginning, other countries are now protesting the police brutality against black people. Other countries, the UK, Canada, Greece, Italy, they're all walking the streets protesting for Black Lives Matter as well. Yeah, Amber, it was horrific. Yeah, Dawn, that's so funny. Yeah, lady, he was a veteran. There was 2 older gentlemen that were shoved to the ground by police, caught on camera. 2 older, like that. One of them was 75 years old. I believe that one was in Portland, which is very close to me. Do you agree with defunding the police like Black Lives Matter? Defunding them? No. I don't think so. No, the police should not be defunded. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think better policies need to be put in place. And something that Zach told me is, so Zach's a veteran. He did 2 tours, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan. And he explained to me in war, you guys need to hear this, okay? Really listen to this part. This blew my mind, okay? In war, an active war, when people, the bad people over in Iraq and Afghanistan, when they're shooting at our military, our army, before they can fire back, have to give them 3 warnings before they shoot that person. Yeah, Laura, I don't agree on that part. That doesn't make sense to me, because no matter what, we need to have police in our country. That is something that needs to be. But they just need to be better trained. So basically what Zach was getting at is maybe police need to be trained like our military is trained. Yes, Laura, I'm right there with you on that. Defunding our police, I don't feel will fix the problem. Retraining them, putting better policies in place. Yeah, Amber, some states don't have to give any warnings before they shoot. But the thing is, as Zach told me, not only do they have to say, I'm about to shoot you in English, they also have to say it in the Iraqi and Afghanistan's language. Then they have to give another verbal warning. They have to put up a flag before they shoot. And they have to shoot into the ground before they shoot that human being. That's in an active war. Even if they are continuously being shot at, they cannot take that shot until they give 3 warnings. That's in an active war. Why are our police here in this country not giving the American people that much respect when our military overseas is giving that much respect, and also another thing Zach told me is that if they do shoot somebody over in Iraq and Afghanistan, they have to immediately, as soon as they take that shot, they have to immediately rush to that person and try to save their life. What? See, that's where I get really emotional. Is even though our army shoots somebody over in Iraq or Afghanistan, the bad guy, the one we're fighting a war against, as soon as they shoot that human being, they immediately are required to go and give them medical help and attention. And they are trained to give that first aid and that medical attention to try to save that Iraqi or Afghanistanian person's life. But cops can shoot somebody who's handcuffed and let them bleed out in the middle of the street? What's wrong with that picture? That's where I'm at with this. Wow, lady, that's a lot. Huge props to your husband, for sure. That had to have been unbelievably hard. Right, Tricky, they need to be retrained in a more strict environment. Dawn, I got pulled over not too long ago. And as soon as I pulled over and I put my car in park, I rolled down my window and immediately put both of my hands out the window. I'm white. I'm a white person. But I see what they do to black people. I see how they abuse their power. And even me, being in a small rural town, am afraid to get pulled over by a police officer. Not because I'm afraid that I'm going to get a ticket. I'm not afraid that I'm going to go to jail. I'm afraid that that cop is going to hurt me or shoot me. That's not right. Exactly, Amber. It's unacceptable behavior. Our police, we need to trust them. Exactly, Amber. Yep. Yes, Laura. So that was kind of one thing that I think needs to be talked about a lot more is I guarantee if police had training like our military, they're so cut and dry. And, so one thing I do have to say about the police in my town is we've had protests here in my town as well. I think we had about 2,000 people that went out. I have not personally went to a protest myself yet. Quite honestly, I'm kind of scared to go to one, but I did drive by our protests here in town, and our cops were mingling within the crowd. There was no problems or issues. There was no riot gear. There was no police lines. The cops were in the middle of the crowd here in our town. So, and that's one thing I think personally, in my opinion, I think needs to be done in every town in America. Cops need to choose their side. And that sucks to say because there shouldn't be a side. But when you're a police officer, you're sworn to protect the people. So if the people want to protest, take off your freaking riot gear and march with them if they believe that Black Lives Matter. I understand they need to be there to keep everybody safe. There's instigators. There's people that want to cause harm and damage and all of that. I saw in Denver, there was a protester on protester shooting. I understand police need to be vigilant And it's a tough job, and I couldn't imagine ever, like, at one point, I wanted to be a cop. I did. But for different reasons than most people want to be a cop. I wanted to be a cop because I was sick and tired of there being crooked cops, and I wanted to go in there and do better for people. So, it's such a tough subject. This is about the innocent that are killed. One thing that isn't being talked about, which I'm so surprised about, and Zach actually pointed it out to me, the whole reason why the cops were called on George Floyd, they thought that, oh, Amber, that is super awesome. At first, when the story came out, it was said that there was a fraudulent check being written. That turned out to not be true. Apparently, the store owner where George Floyd was thought that his $20 bill was fake. So that's when the cops were called. There is no fake $20 bill anywhere. There is nothing stating he was using a fake $20 bill. But his life was taken because he was buying something at a store and no questions were asked. There's another video that recently surfaced of the George Floyd killing. And that was there's not even words to describe it. The horrific brutality. George Floyd was in the back of the cop car, and the cop was in the back of the cop car beating him. And so he got out of the other side of the cop car, and that's why he's on the left side of the cop car. It's because he got out of the other side of the cop car, and that's when he got put down on the ground because he was resisting arrest. He was not resisting arrest. He was trying to get away from an assault. Exactly, Amber. Exactly. Yes, Laura, I do. They worked the same security job. Yep. They had history together. Coincidence? I don't think so. So, yeah. My emotions are high. Laura, I get my news from the live videos that the people are recording. That's where I get my live news. I don't trust the news stations unless they're live on the air. I am watching the videos that the people, are recording of these brutal attacks. The girl. Did you guys see the girl that was shoved into the air and landed on her head, cracked her head open, had seizures and a concussion in result of that brutality. That one blew my mind as well. She wasn't even doing anything. She was standing in the street. And the crazy thing about that is the cop that shoved her that hard, there is a man walking behind him in a white shirt. That's his commander. That's the police in chief. Right behind him. Nothing was done. The cop looked at the girl, the commander-in-chief looked at the girl, and they kept walking. Nobody checked on her. I mean, the people checked on her. Right, Laura? Exactly. Things are crazy. And see, I don't want it to get too political because politics are always brought into every issue, and I don't think that's the issue. The system has too much power, and I actually want to tell you guys a story about what's happening in my life right now due to the system. Not just cops, but people in higher positions who are not held accountable. There's nobody above them to hold them accountable. And of course, I'm talking about DHS. I'm losing my daughter on the 18th of this month. And I was basically given no choice in the matter. They gave me 3 options. Either I do guardianship, which gives somebody else temporary custody of my daughter, which is the one I'm doing, because I will be getting her back. It's not the end. I will never stop fighting for my children. Never, no matter what. I was given the option for guardianship. I was given the option that I could bring all 3 of my children home, which my daughter has a disability of intermittent anger explosive disorder. So I requested counseling with my daughter to work through that, so me and her could connect on a level where everybody would be safe in the home. They wouldn't allow me to do counseling once it came out that the babysitter was abusing them. And then I had the choice to choose between my children. I could either bring my boys home and not my daughter, or I could bring my daughter home and not my boys. The system is messed up. People are not there to hold these people accountable, and that needs to change. I've been fighting for my children for 4 years. So people protesting, there's a lot of different reasons I believe people are protesting right now. There's Black Lives Matter. There's people protesting against the president. There's people protesting because they've been locked in their houses for, we were going on 4 months because of the coronavirus. I would love to go protest at the steps of DHS. There are so many reasons. People who have been affected personally by police brutality. I have a story about when I was I was huge. I had to have been 6 or 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And I was at my cousin's house, and her children's father was there with some buddies, and they were out back smoking weed. This is when it wasn't legal in Oregon yet. And so, they were smoking weed out back because there was their newborn son in the house. So they did the right thing by going outside. Well, because they went outside, one of the neighbors called the cops on them for smoking weed. 3 police officers came to the house. Okay, a call was made that people were smoking weed. 3 cops came. When they had finished smoking weed, they decided to go do something. I don't remember. They left. It was before anybody knew the cops were being called. They finished up smoking weed and they moved on with their day. So they were gone. Cops showed up. 3 cops. 3 of them. It was me, my cousin, my aunt, and my newly born baby cousin. They came into the house. They made me sit on the couch. They made my cousin sit down. My aunt, of course, let them in the house. They then started to search the house because somebody was smoking weed out back. They started searching the house. They found a bullet on the entertainment center. It was a pretty big bullet. It was one that her boyfriend had found on the train tracks, and he had just picked it up. So they were searching the house. And Laura, I'm talking about when I was about 6 or 7 months pregnant with my daughter. I was at my cousin's house, and her baby's dad was out back smoking weed with some friends, and a neighbor called the cops. So when they were done smoking weed, they just went about their day and went and ran their errands or whatever. I don't know where they went. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But they left, and it wasn't due to oh no, the cops are coming or anything like that. They didn't know the cops were coming. So the cops came, 3 of them. 3 cops for a people smoking weed call. And so my aunt let them in because, she's a law-abiding citizen. And back then, people didn't really know their rights back then. But they came in, they sat me down on the couch, they sat my cousin down on the couch, and they started searching the house for a smoking weed phone call. Complaint. Oh, wow. Okay, here comes the rain. Anyways, I hope you guys can still hear me. They started searching the house. They come out to the living room, and they tell my cousin to stand up. She stood up, and they started handcuffing her. She said, "Wait, why are you handcuffing me? What's going on?" And the cop said, "Well, whose crank is that in the bathroom?" At this point, I didn't know what the heck crank was. What? And so, I spoke up, and I'm like, what's crank? And he's like, speed, methamphetamine, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? I'm pregnant, for one. My cousin just had a baby, and my aunt is in the house. So my cousin, after she had her son, had gotten one of those dermal piercings. And at the piercing place, they gave her a little baggie of salt to clean the area. The cops were calling that crank. What? So they did a field test. It came back negative. They uncuffed my cousin. But, like, you can't jump to conclusions like that. And to search a house just because somebody was smoking weed is just an abuse of power. It's not right. And I understand if you have nothing to hide, there's no reason to tell them, no, you can't search things, blah, blah, blah. But it's our civil rights that we need to stand up for, or they'll be taken away. Thank you, Amber. Exactly, Amber. See, lady, and that's my problem, is, or, lady, that's the problem, is, the people that need CPS to step in, CPS won't. But for families like me, my children are gone because I spanked my daughter. And then when the cops came, they said that she had a bruise. I saw no bruises on my child. And then about 2 years ago, I was in counseling with my daughter, and she disclosed in counseling that the babysitter that they were with before they got taken, because I was working nights, which was my landlord, who called the cops on me for spanking my child. The lady who called the cops on me is the one who was beating my kids while I was at work. The bruise on my daughter was from the babysitter. And instead of her, who was a foster parent to her grandchildren, no actions were taken against her. But I had all of my kids taken, and I've been fighting for 4 years now. That's not right. Yeah. So, that's where I'm at. Things are tough right now. Really, really tough. I'm so emotional about all of this. And I want there to be change. Things need to be better in our world. We are the land of the free, and we need to stand up for that. We have to. It's our right. It's what the Constitution was written for. And it needs to be, we need to keep that right. We don't want to end up in a country where we're told what we can and can't do. Yep, exactly, Kristen. A lot of people don't have a say in anything. Really, the most we can do is we can just take to the streets, fill those streets up, let them see us. I think in Texas, there's about 60,000 protesters in one area. That's big. That's something that's going to be remembered. That's something that's going to make change. These are just my opinions. If you don't agree with them, that's 100% okay. Because all I want is for everybody to be treated equally. That's it. I want everybody to be able to live and have the pursuit of happiness equally as everyone else. Everyone. And I don't understand why that would be, yeah, abortion. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with abortion. I'm not okay with it, but I'm not going to tell somebody they can't do it. I'm not going to fight or vote against it. That's not me. I believe everybody has the right to do what they want. I don't agree with it, but it's not me. The only thing I can do is take a step that if I get pregnant, I have to own up to that. That was my decision. But if people should be able to do what they want. Why are we being told what we can and can't do? Yeah, lady, they get quite a bit of money if children are adopted out. I have done my research on that. So, but they're not going to get my children. They're not. Yes, Laura. Yes. I completely agree with you. I do. It's not right. It's not right in any way, shape, or form. But with that being said, in this being America, I don't agree with it. I don't. I absolutely 110%. I don't even like to say the word. Normally when I say something like that, I say the A word. I don't even like to say the full word. But with it being America, everybody should have equal rights and be able to live with freedom. And that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah. Right, Amber, exactly. That's all you can do. Is you have to live your life with morals. You have to follow those morals. Like in my life, the three main things in my life that I live by every single day is you don't lie, you don't cheat, and you don't steal. Ever. Period. Those are my three morals that I live by every single day. No matter what. I physically can't lie. Because as soon as I try to tell a lie, I either look down, I give it away every single time. I cannot lie. I will start laughing. I get nervous. I can't do it. I can't lie. I physically can't. Which is good because I shouldn't be lying anyways. And I'm sorry if anybody disagrees with these opinions. Like I said, everybody has their own opinions. But one thing that I can absolutely say is racism is never okay. Ever. I feel like there should never be another opinion on that. Right, Amber? I know. I like to be, like, sneaky when I play poker, and I'll give away different looks where people are like, oh, she's got a good hand, or I could be like, oh, man. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, we're going to get this money, and then it turns out I have a good hand. I'm good at that, but that's amazing news, Kristen, because, yeah, I haven't done good things in my past, that's for sure. But all you can do is better yourself every single day. And I think that's what's happening nowadays, is people have grown up and been taught that racism is okay. And it's just became something that's normal. But if you educate yourself and you see this is not right, they're people. They're just people. Everybody. And I saw a post the other day or it was today. I freaking loved it. It was, once we figure out this Black Lives Matter movement, can we then shift to help our Latinos to fight against ICE? And I felt that. The fight's not over. Yeah, lady, that makes sense. But yeah, after this movement, and after it'll never be done. We just need to continuously, yeah, Kristen, that's not okay. We just have to continuously teach people and show people, because from early on in the history of America, it's always been okay to be racist. So people need to be continuously educated. And we can't stop fighting for our people, regardless of who they are, ever. And nobody should be shipped out of America. That's stupid. There's people here living and working for their families. Zach's calling me over. I don't know why. One sec. What?
What are you doing?
I'm live. You guys want to say hi?
Hi. Hi, world. Alright, when are you going to be unlive?
Ni hao. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, it's CCP. We can't say that.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's a metal reel. It's a metal rod.
Oh, wow.
See?
Yeah.
It's square.
That's awesome.
Right?
Alright, let me know when you're done.
Kristen says hi.
Hi. I have to go to the store.
Amber says ICE is just a government version of the Klan. It is. Hey, Jessica. We're getting emotional here. We're having a very, very emotional talk. Well, and the thing is my boys, oh, lady, one sec. Let me go tell him that. Ugh. That's what I actually call him sometimes. Lady says hi, handsome.
Hi. She was talking to me.
What?
I said she was talking to me.
Oh.
Should I trade? Should I trade? Should I trade?
Yes, I think you should.
He gets an extra magazine. Bullets.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade.
Should make him buy me a box of shells.
I offered work, Dick.
Right, I think that's a great freaking, yeah, that's a great
I
trade.
offered labor. Come on,
That's a
now.
great trade.
Fair enough. Alright, I might do it. I'm starting to think I'm going to do it.
I think you should. You just have to get a holster.
I have a holster.
Oh, you have a holster that goes
I
with
do.
that? That's
I
awesome.
have a leather holster.
Oh,
Will
perfect.
you give it to me? I give you my clip. That goes with my
Well, yeah, dude. If
and my
I wouldn't need it.
right.
I wouldn't have
Woo!
anything close that would fit. My shotgun.
All right, I think I might. I'm gonna keep thinking on it, but I want to go get some. I want some rum. She's gonna hang out for the day,
Sweet sauce.
so I want some.
Yeah,
lunch.
today's just a lazy day for me.
I want
Hell
lunch and
yeah.
rum and stuff later. So
Did you say a bunch?
lunch and rum.
Oh, I thought you said a bunch of rum.
Maybe I
I
guess.
said, yeah,
That's
because you
fine.
don't know what happened yesterday. Okay. When you're done,
We'll
come
talk,
talk.
we'll
Okay.
talk shop.
Okay. He's funny. Yes, my brother and my sister are both half Mexican. Zach's Mexican. I grew up in Mexican. I was raised by somebody who's Mexican. Thank you, Jessica. Yep. I mean, Mexicans are our neighbors. We don't treat Canadians that way. Why would we treat Mexicans that way? It blows my mind. Heck yeah, Jessica. They're cute as all hell as well. And I guess Zach's getting a new gun. Woo woo. And then I'm going to go run errands here shortly. We got Justin hanging out for the day. He's so funny. He's hilarious. And you guys remember Justin. I apologized for that one video because he was just so inappropriate. And he didn't know that, like, this was technically my job. And he was just so inappropriate. And then my boys are, I mean, they're not dark. They get real tan in the summer because they're part native. Like, their dad is not half native. Their dad is, what is it? I want to say he's like 45% native. Exactly, Amber. Why was it okay for us to come to this country from Europe, but it's not okay for Mexicans to come to this country? Or Muslims, or anything like that. Like, what? Makes no sense. Right, Jessica? I tell Zach all the time he is definitely half white and half Mexican because his arms are tan, his neck is tan, his face is tan, and then his chest and his belly are just white. White. Laura, I have my opinions on that because Zach's I don't think that they're dating anymore, but Zach's girlfriend is illegal. She's here illegally. She has 3 children back in Mexico. She watched her husband be beheaded in front of her because he refused to join the cartel, and she ran from there so she could make money because you can't make money in Mexico to survive. She came here to make money to get her children out because it's dangerous over there. I wouldn't want to live there. I would do everything in my power to get to America if I lived there, legally or not. And the way to become legal in America for Mexicans is ridiculous. They have to pay like $5,000 and submit an application. And then the people who get the applications can decide whether or not they're accepted. If they say no to that person who paid $5,000 to put in that application, they don't get that money back. That's hard money to make and save in Mexico. They make it almost impossible to come here. In Mexico, some parts of Mexico are dangerous. And I feel like everybody should have the right to live a safe life. Exactly, Amber. That's my opinion. Is I want people to be safe. I want people to be happy. And I don't think that a mother and child should have to watch their husband and father be beheaded in front of them because he doesn't want to join a gang. That is terrifying. And we make it so hard for Mexicans to be able to come over here. Why wouldn't they come here legally? The process to become legal is impossible. Why? Why is it like that? That's racism. Oh, nice, lady. Oh, wow, Tricky. You got the opposite of, like, I think it's Georgia's flooding right now.
Georgia's flooding?
Yeah.
Drop the bullet.
And Laura, I really appreciate that we can have this conversation and it be positive. We can agree on things. We can disagree on things. That does not make me look at you or anyone that disagrees with anything I feel in a different way. Because that is the beauty of being in America. You can have a different opinion. And that's okay. Except for if you're just being flat out racist. That I won't tolerate racism in any way. But exactly, Laura. I will love you no matter what your opinions or your views are, because we live in America and that is one of our rights. And that is a beautiful thing. And that's why I always say on my channel, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody. You're allowed to have your own opinion. You're not going to be judged for your opinion in any way. Exactly, Amber. We all have our different views. We've all been raised differently. We've all seen different things. We have different views. I have a view on illegal immigrants differently than other people because I've actually witnessed and heard the terrible, horrific stories that some other people may not have heard, or maybe there's a bias and you've only heard of the bad illegal Mexicans that come here to smuggle drugs or commit crimes and blah, blah, blah. Like my cousin's father, my cousin's children's father got deported because he got caught with weed too many times. And they deported him for that. He's not allowed to see his children. His children do go across the border and see him legally, of course. But because he got caught with marijuana too many times, they deported him. It's now legal now, and they still won't let him back. Exactly, Laura. Exactly. Lady, I don't remember. Another thing I don't agree with is if children are brought over here illegally when they are babies, they should have every right to be here because it was not their choice to come here illegally. That's another one of my views. If children come here illegally when they are underage, it was not their choice. They had no say in it. They should have every right to be here. Immediate legal citizenship. They've grown up in America. They have the morals of an American. They deserve to be here. Yeah, exactly. It's not their fault. They didn't choose to be here. Okay. Disclaimer again. I'm going to talk about something else that's graphic. That needs to be shared. It needs to be put out there. And like they said, once we figure out this racism against black people, we need to step in for our Latinos here in America. Because one thing that I saw in the news that broke my freaking heart into tiny little crumbly pieces is due to the coronavirus. Okay, let me start over. Not due to the coronavirus. That's in a little bit later in the story. In America, down by the border of Mexico, there are camps. I wouldn't call them concentration camps or anything like that because, well, I might now with the information that I heard. There are children being housed in camps on the border of America. They're on the American side. They're not on the Mexico side. They're on the American side. There's camps filled with children that have been separated from their parents due to all of the large ice grabs. They are being packed into tiny little rooms. Packed into these little rooms all together. And children are starving to death. Because of the coronavirus, they haven't been able to get them food. Children on American soil are being packed into tiny little rooms, and children are dying in our country. Mexican children that have been ripped from their parents. That is not okay. Why is that not being talked about? Why is that not on the front lines of the news? Children, small children, are in camps here on American soil, have been ripped away from their parents. And it's not being talked about. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's very hard to believe, Laura. I was shocked. I was shocked to hear it. And this all happened around the time that Trump was going to build the wall, is when these camps were set up. And there's still children there in them. Exactly, Amber. So, that's my emotional chat. So, I want to leave this on a good note. Changes being made. Yes, Laura, it is. I just think it should be talked about more. Is basically what I'm saying. I think that more people should be talking about it. Love you, Kristen. Have a great day. So, to end this on a positive note, change is being made. People are being heard. Us, the people, are being heard. Police are being documented for the things that they're doing. And there needs to be policy changes. Everybody needs to feel safe in America. And change is happening. The police officer that killed George Floyd has been arrested. The charges have been upped. The other 3 officers have been arrested. Videos are needed to hold police accountable. Because their body cams just magically shut off on their own. Okay. I am.
I asked you 45 minutes ago.
You just now told me.
It was before 12. It's almost 1. Remember we talked about asking you to do something and you taking care of it after I took care of you with the card?
Alrighty, so that's all I have to say to you guys today. I hope maybe I put some thoughts in your mind for you to think about and talk to other people about. And I hope I didn't offend too many people. And I love you guys so much. Black Lives Matter. Latino lives matter. And eventually, all lives will matter once we can get all of this stuff sorted and figured out. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for sitting here and chatting with me, sharing your views and opinions with me. I really appreciate it a lot. And I love that we can have a very civil, calm conversation with each other, whether we agree with each other or not. So, love you guys so much. And I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.